Welcome to this YouTube stream. Today we will be chatting about freebies. So freebies are honestly a fantastic tool when it comes to your marketing strategy, to growing your email list, and attracting your ideal client. Except freebies are one of these things that are either like super simple to set up, but they can also be incredibly complex. So today, we're going to map out everything that you need to set up your freebie and how you can make sure to get the most bang for your buck for yourself, but also provide a ton of value for your audience. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Okay, so you should be able to see my whiteboard here. So we're going to start by breaking down the basic steps, and then we'll go back and edit all the details and add them in. So obviously, the first place to start would be how do people access your freebie. So we're going to put that here. I know this is super straightforward, but bear with me, I'll get a little bit more complicated as we go into it. So once people can access it, then the next step would be to actually sell it. So, okay, you're probably going like, okay, well this is free, like why would I need to sell something that's free? Well, let's be honest, it's not actually free. Like you are hoping to get something in return, that being your leads information, right? Like the purpose here is to grow your database, so you want some information from them. So it's not completely free. So you do need to go in and basically tell them, why is it worth it for you to give me this information and then for me to pop into your inbox probably on a somewhat regular basis, all right? So why is it worth it? This is also a really great occasion to make sure that you're targeting your ideal client, right? So like this selling would be like, this is for you if these are the benefits that you're getting, all the, the client transformation, the basics of selling in business, I would apply them here, right? Point being that you get to reinforce that someone is at the right place and that they should absolutely get their hands on this, or B, that this absolutely isn't made for you, and therefore you shouldn't sign up for this. Let's be honest, it's still free, quote unquote, so you're still going to have random people showing up and signing up for this, unfortunately. But by having this extra step and really making sure that you outline what this is for, who this is for, then you're able to increase the quality of leads that you get through this. So we're going to sell the freebie, and then from there, this is where I'd say things get a little bit more complicated. This is where you do the transaction. So as we mentioned, it's free, but not really. People are, you're looking for people's information. So this is where that goes. And then from there, you would have the delivery. Okay, and I would say these last two steps are really where systems and automations are going to shine, and we're going to dive into that in a minute. So let's go back to our freebie. So how people access it, that's honestly pretty straightforward. That would just be through a link. Honestly, I would put this in like your social media bio and on your website. So this freebie is most likely some sort of resource for your ideal client. So if you have a resource page on your website, I would add it in there. The other place I would add it is, let's say at the bottom of your homepage, right? So often you would have like a newsletter sign up at the bottom of the homepage, except having a freebie is way more exciting than just sign up for my newsletter, right? And if they scroll all the way to the bottom of your homepage, you already know that there is, some interest there from this person. So again, with the freebie, you're able to validate that they're at the right place. If they're your ideal client, that they should absolutely hop in on that. And that kind of gives them a second option in terms of if they scroll all the way to the bottom, they might not be ready to purchase from you just yet. So this is a very low risk option, but again, if they're already interested, perfect, and you get to integrate them to your business ecosystem, to your databases, etc. Okay. Then, where does this link bring us? Well, again, pretty straightforward. We should go to a landing page. Okay, and again, with this landing page, I would have it have the same structure as you would for any other landing page where you're trying to sell a product or a service. Obviously, it's not the same value. Like, the only thing that they have to give you in exchange is information. So, it doesn't have to be a super long, super detailed landing page. But again, that's where we're going to put all the information for the selling, the client transformation, the validation that this is for you, or maybe not. So that's where that would be. Then how do you build your landing page? You have a couple options. A, on your website, and if you ask me, that is by far the best option on your website. B, you could probably use some sort of funnel page builder type thing. I personally am not a huge fan of them just because most likely you are able to create something very similar from your website, which A, saves you money, and then B, they're already on your website, so it gives them even more opportunity to look into what other things you offer, get to know you more, etc. And then third option would be if you have a more complex freebie, you might need a third-party tool to create it. So for instance, I created a quiz where people get to find out where their biggest time leak is in their business. And I use a third-party app to build it. So then I had the option to either send people to the quiz on this third-party app or to have it embedded in my website. So up to you what you do. Like I mentioned, I think landing page on your own website is the way to go. Then comes the more complicated part, which is the actual transaction. So how are you going to get this person's information? So I recommend using some sort of form, obviously. This can be through, I would have it on your landing page, and if it is very short, just put it at the end. If it's a little bit longer, then put multiple links where if people have already made up their mind, they can just jump to it. And the simplest way to build your form would be to use your either CRM program, so your customer relationship management program, or your email program, because either way, that's going to be the end destination of this person, right? Considering that we're trying to grow our database, this is where they're going to end up. And most of these programs will have a tool where you can create forms and you can set okay, if this person fills out this form, they automatically get added to this group. So it makes it super easy then for our next few steps, including the freebie delivery. So that would be my go-to. That might not be possible. Let's say if we go back to you use a third-party program to create your freebie, then you might be stuck with the forms that they have, in which case you would probably need to use programs like Zapier, Integromat, and I'm just going to put it right here where that would be from your CRM or your email. Those would be this being by far the easiest. So as I mentioned, you would have a form. I like to keep it really straightforward, as easy as possible. Name and email, and that's it. right? Again, this is a free offer. Our goal is to maximize the amount of people that are going to hop into this. Hopefully they're part of our ideal client, but we do want to maximize how many people hop in. So as easy as possible with name and email. Realistically, that is all you need anyways. And then through this form, you would say that this form gets automatically added to a group. Okay, so one, that's for information purposes. You can see how people got to know you and got more involved in your business ecosystem. And then B, makes our next step, the freebie delivery, way easier. Because, again, through all of these programs, we can create automations where it's something like when lead ads gets added to this group, then send email. Okay? And then your delivery of your freebie can just be a link in that email. This is my favorite approach because when people just sign up for your freebie, they're at like max level interest in your brand and in what you do. So it is like by far the easiest point to be like, to ask them for things. And so at this stage, what we want to ask people for is to add us in their contacts, or to, if they're using Gmail, to move us from promotions to their inbox so they actually get our emails. So that's why I like this, because they can't wait to get your freebie. They're super excited about it. They're going to be on the lookout for it in their inbox. And so it's super easy to be like, hey, by the way, if you really like this, if you want to hear more from me, let's be friends. So that's where that would be. And that kind of brings me to my next point, which we haven't added yet. So let's add that on, there you go, red, because that's a bonus. That's a bonus section. And that would be a new lead, there you go, welcome sequence. So again, the thought behind that is they just got to know you, they're super excited, they're super stoked about their freebie. So it's a really good time for you to kind of lay the foundation of that relationship. So a new lead email welcome sequence would probably include things like get to know me, a couple fun facts, how I got started, talk about what you offer and what you do. And some people, that's all they're going to need in order to go from lead to client. So if that's the case, through the relationship building you're able to do through this sequence, then it finishes off on this is how you book a call, or these are the other things that I do. And again, you can set that up as an automation. So let's say here, when this person gets added to the group, and that would be like a freebie group, then they send the freebie email. And after that, I've set it up so that if then they are already a subscriber, then they just go back to your regular newsletter. And if they are new, then they get this. Okay? And the reason why I break it up is that my original subscriber might want to hop into this freebie. Why not? It's super cool anyways, right? So they might want to hop into it, but I don't want to bore them with the welcome sequence again. So setting up an automation like this just kind of allows you to keep it a little bit more clean, but providing in that opportunity for new leads to get to know you a little bit better. And as you might have guessed, the following step from the email sequence would then be to be moved to the newsletter, which again is something that you can easily set through automations. As long as your lead info was forwarded to your email program, you can make this happen. So as I mentioned, this can be super easy. This is definitely a map out of something that's pretty straightforward. That would be like a checklist, a guide, an ebook, something like that. In my case, this is a little bit different for me because I created a quiz, and we have 3 different results that are possible. And so I used Integromat right here. I used Integromat to filter the outcomes of the quiz, and so that way when my lead gets an email, it's specifically tailored to the result that they got, right? So again, okay, what is your biggest time leak in your business? I kind of outlined 3 major causes, and I also want you to be able to take the steps to fix that. So that's all getting sent to an email, right? So then this part would have 1 email per outcome, but otherwise then the rest stays the same. So I hope this clarifies it a little bit. I know there can be a lot in there, but honestly, this is like a really great way to automate things. It's a pretty easy setup. And automating things will just make sure that your lead actually gets the freebie like as soon as possible when they're still super excited about it. And then on your part, well, you don't have to copy and paste information. There's no risk of you making mistakes as you're sending the information from one program to the other. You're just starting off your relationship on a really high note. And again, once that's set up, yes, it takes some time to kind of dive into it, do the testing, but once it's up and going, the only thing you really have to do for your freebie is maintenance and making sure that your automations are still working appropriately. Even maybe looking into if your freebie is still relevant to what you do and still attracting the kind of clients you want to work with. But otherwise, it makes it that it's super hands-off, you promote it, it's out there, it's ready, and you're good to go. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this. If you don't follow me already, please follow me on Instagram at anso.peltier. I'll be doing one of these every week, so obviously if there's any process that you want me to map out, it can be like super personal to your own business, to your own setup. Drop it in the comments below, and if you like this, like and subscribe. Alright guys, have a nice week, and see you next Thursday. Bye!